Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and I've got a couple Ripple and XRP related stories for you in this latest Moon Lambo hot jam. And I'll start with this one from crypto media outlet U Today. Ripple shifts saw 816 million XRP, along with major XRP, quote, delister, unquote. And I've got an opinion from an attorney within the XRP community who has a hot take on what's going on here and potential fallout for at least this one in particular cryptocurrency exchange as a result of halting the trading of XRP. I've also got another story, here we go, titled XRP Increases Its Decentralization with New Validator. And so there are a number of things I want to talk about on this topic, and also Ripple CTO David Schwartz, who is also a co-creator of the XRP Ledger, he chimed in on a question from an XRP community member about the XRP Ledger forking. So lots to talk about here, but I do want to be clear before we go further that I don't have a financial background of any kind. I'm not offering financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm nothing more than an enthusiast who makes YouTube videos purely as a hobby because it's fun to talk about Ripple and XRP and crypto-related stories. That is indeed all that it is. All right, so into this first one now. Whale Alert Crypto Tracker has reported that in the past 8 hours, Ripple FinTech Decacorn made 2 transactions on the XRP ledger, moving a total of 746 million XRP tokens. Now, Binance US, which is one of the major exchanges that suspended XRP trading, and Bitso, which is a major on-demand liquidity partner of Ripple's for Latin America, and a few other exchanges also transferred a total of 70 million tokens. Now, and so this is where Arturo Portilla, I butchered that, Arturo Portilla, who is self-described as a Mexican tax and fintech lawyer, shared his opinion on what's going on Twitter, specifically for one transaction where Bitstamp transferred 25 million XRP to Uphold. And so I looked at the actual transaction on BitHump, and they clearly came from hot wallets, and you can tell because they're just like every few seconds, like there's just endless numbers of transactions here on it for both these accounts. So it's not something where it was like, you know, the exchange execs or whoever's in charge of, you know, managing liquidity for the exchange. It doesn't look as though it's something to where XRP was purchased from one exchange by one exchange from the other. It could be, but it's just would it go straight to a hot wallet? I'm not so sure, because you can see even Uphold's hot wallet here. It's moving. So now you would expect it to go from one hot wallet to another if it's a user that's moving, but that is a massive amount for one user to move. So I'm not completely sure. And so my take is I don't know. Like there's no way I can know, but Arturo Portilla seems to think that this is an indication of a fallout for cryptocurrency exchange Bitstamp for halting the trading activity in the United States of XRP. And so Arturo wrote the following: "This is Bitstamp facing the consequences of its hasty actions. Uphold is the clear winner." And so what he's saying there is, since XRP cannot be traded in the United States on Bitstamp, it was transferred to Uphold, because in the United States, Uphold does allow still the XRP to be traded. And again, since it's coming from hot wallets, it's definitely very possible that's the case, but there's no way to know for sure who the recipient is, so it's a hot take, if you will, and it could be completely accurate. Now, as far as the fallout here, I mean, clearly, in terms of like getting a windfall, in terms of earning fees from the buying and selling of XRP, cryptocurrency exchanges, Bitrue, Uphold, and GateHub, yeah. I'm sure that anybody in the United States that still wants to buy and sell XRP, they had no choice but to move to one of those 3 exchanges. So their activity had to have picked up to some degree, even though undoubtedly there would have been a large number of people that just aren't going to trade it in the United States as a result of all of this. But those that want to, yeah, they had to shift to them. So for them, it's beneficial. For the other exchanges, yeah, not so hot here. Now, I personally still, and I've shared this opinion a number of times on the channel, but just to be clear, I don't blame Bitstamp or Coinbase or any cryptocurrency exchange for halting the trading of XRP, because admittedly, trading it now is a lot more risky than it would have been just from a legal perspective. And so I don't blame the exchanges for doing that. I feel like, it makes more sense to blame the SEC. And I mean, do you think that they don't want to make money on the buying and selling of XRP? Well, that's silly. Of course they want to. But, they hire law firms to do risk management analysis for them, and this is the most prudent thing to do for most cryptocurrency exchanges. But I do think that once this is all cleared up, they'll be adding XRP back to the roster of cryptocurrencies that can be traded. Shout out to XRP Crypto for sharing this next piece with me, which comes from You Today, titled, excuse me, XRP increases its decentralization with new validator. US-based blockchain company PAC Global has announced that it now runs its own node to validate transactions on the XRP ledger. The move has increased the decentralization level of the 7th largest cryptocurrency that is affiliated with San Francisco-based blockchain company Ripple. And now this next portion of this article, I got a little bit of a bone to pick. Let me explain here, because there seems to be a misunderstanding of what's going on functionally with the XRP ledger and how it operates. So it reads as follows. A node can be defined as a computing device that helps to maintain a network. XRP Ledger is operated by a unique node list, or UNL for short, of trusted validators for processing transactions on the network, thus averting double spends. Presently, over 150 validators are maintaining the ledger. So a couple things here. You decide who you trust. If you're on the XRP ledger, you're participating, you decide who to trust. So if actors come into the space with ill intent, and it could be a ton of them, they're trying to spam the network, all the trustworthy operators have to do is say, okay, cool, I'm not going to listen to you. So it's hard to build up trust in this system by design, and it's very easy to even for a trusted party to become not trusted very quickly. Again, that's by design. So, because otherwise you could have a bunch of actors that seem to be acting in good faith, but then they start doing ridiculous things and spamming the network, this or that, whatever it may be. Well, you can just stop listening to them and then proceed without any sort of disastrous thing, incident unfolding. So that's by design. And so then they write again, presently over 150 validators are maintaining the ledger. While Ripple no longer runs the majority of them, the blockchain company still publishes its own proposed UNL, a fact that was mentioned in the complaint filed by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. And so here's what I wanted to point out. Ripple cannot force anyone to listen to anyone on the ledger. They absolutely cannot. They don't have any special powers. People participating, there's a proposed UNL by default, and they decide, you decide if you want to listen to it, and if you don't have to participate. You don't have to do a damn thing. Nothing is forced here. This is the nature of a decentralized system here. So this should not be viewed as something that somehow makes it centralized or something or this or that. To the contrary, this is a feature of the decentralization. I just think so many people don't understand that. And as far as the quantity here, 150 validators maintaining the ledger. You go to Ripple's website, which I pulled up right here. You can see this is Ripple's official website, ripple.com/XRP. And they wrote the following. Anyone can be a validator, and active validators on the ledger to date include universities, exchanges, and financial institutions. There are currently 36 validators, and Ripple runs 6 of them, are 16%. So as far as the 150 number, that was cited by Ripple X here, who wrote on March 17th, anyone can operate a validator. Currently over 150 validators are active on the ledger, operated by universities, exchanges, businesses, and individuals. And so what's with the discrepancy? Ripple says 36 exist. Ripple X says 150 exist, which is the development arm of Ripple, right? This is the part of Ripple that was formerly known as Spring. And so I wrote to them, and I haven't heard back. I wrote, why does Ripple's website say there are 36 validators and you say there are 150? I've seen this discrepancy before. but have never heard an explanation. Thanks in advance if you can clear this up for me and anyone else that's curious. And so I was wondering, I didn't mention, there's only so many characters in the tweet, but I was wondering if they meant nodes. Like I've seen in the XRP community, whether this is right or wrong, I see people clarify whether something is just a node or a validator. And I don't know if they're referencing those validators which would have something to do with the unique node list. I'm not really completely sure. I was hoping to get an answer, but either they ignored me or they get so many notifications that it passed by. I don't blame them either way. It's fine. But I still don't have clarification. I've asked this before. I've asked other people that are knowledgeable within the XRP community, and I have not gotten an answer yet. So there we are, 150 or 36, whatever it is. There we are. I just thought I'd highlight. So if anybody has any information on that, let me know, because I don't pretend to know everything. I'm just sharing the bits and pieces that I do know, and I learn all sorts of stuff from you, everybody that's watching the channel, everybody on Twitter. I learn tons of stuff all the time, and that's part of what makes it awesome to be part of the XRP community. But I'm definitely not a know-it-all. No way. And then let's get into what David Schwartz had to say here, because he was asked by somebody, if validators on the decentralized system all decide on a certain rule and you don't want to participate, what happens? And David Schwartz, Ripple CTO, responds with the following. You just pick different validators. They can't force you to participate if you don't want to. Yeah, exactly. And so this is kind of what I was getting at earlier. You can't force anyone to do anything. And so then there's a follow-up question, is that a fork? Great question, to which David responded. It could wind up being one if both rule sets survive because enough people prefer it that way. What can also happen is that people gradually decide it's more valuable to have a bigger network than to have exactly the rules they prefer, and then one side dies. Exactly. And so what could happen with the XRP ledger, even if there were malicious actors, that could, in theory, result in a fork, right? But who the hell is going to use it? It forks, and then everybody else that's, they're the good actors that like what the other validators have to say, they go that way, and then everybody that's malicious, they're on a broken off path. They forked, and it's a separate chain now. Well, what have you achieved then, malicious actors? Nothing. Absolutely not. And so to the point, as far as, Ripple having control because of the UNL, I'm just sitting here thinking anybody can do anything with it, and if it results in a fork, it results in a fork. That's the nature of a decentralized system, and the SEC points it out as if that's some sort of a point of contention, as if it's some sort of indication of centralization, and it couldn't be further from the truth. And by the way, as far as validators, I really wish that they had not called validators, because it makes it sound like they're like a validator. It just sounds on the surface to people that don't know a damn thing about it. And mind you, I'm not even like particularly heavy on the tech side of this. I just, from a 30,000 foot overview point of view, like that's more so what I'm interested in, just in generality, how it works. And then researching fundamentals about practical applications in the real world, I'm most interested in that. But from the tech side, I just, since I'm not an IT nerd or anything like that, nothing against the IT nerds out there. You guys are awesome. I'm just saying, like that's not my, it's not really my forte. But it's as far as there being like some sort of understanding, and a lot of people have this, where it's like they think that just because it's called validator, that that these validators get to decide what transactions go through and don't go through. That's actually not true at all. And so the way that it functionally works is the validators, and I can't remember who came up with this, but it would make more sense if validators were actually called sequencers, because what validators are doing is determining the order in which transactions occur. And the order of transactions is purely inconsequential. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if one happens, because think about it, a ledger closes every 3 to 5 seconds. Well, if you're before or after a ledger, you're talking about a 3 to 5 second differential. And why does it matter in comparison to the ledger that closed before or after? Like, why would that functionally matter? Well, of course it doesn't. It doesn't matter in the least here. So we're talking about the sequencing of transactions here. And so why does this matter? And why is XRP so much faster than Bitcoin? Well, because it doesn't use mining. It doesn't use proof of work. And so why do the validators, who are really more so sequencers, why do they have to agree on the order? What do you mean? Shouldn't just whatever it happens, it naturally happens, right? Well, not so fast. Imagine if you're making a phone call on one side of the planet to somebody on the other side of the planet. There's a delay, isn't there? Right? because there's a vast difference geographically, right? And so now consider that difference, like because there'll be like a phone delay, this or that in terms of communication. We see this all the time with satellite feeds. Okay, because the signal's got to bounce, right? So now just consider in terms of the XRP ledger, which is a decentralized system that's truly global. Well, depending on where you are in the world, you're going to see transactions come in a different order than other validators. You're going to see, and it's purely just geographically, you're going to receive them because of where you are from a distance perspective. You're going to receive them in different orders. So how the hell can you have a ledger when everybody's seeing stuff come in at different times? How can you have a ledger that's sequentially coherent? Well, the answer is, it doesn't, since the order functionally doesn't matter, as I cited a minute ago. It turns out all you have to do is just have a majority of validators agree on the order that it came in. And so if most validators, say 80%, see that orders occurred in such a fashion, then that's good enough. They don't all have to agree. So as long as you have the majority that's agreeing that the transactions occurred in such an order, then it's settled and it's final, and that's immutable. You cannot retract that ledger and change it. You can't have a chain reorganization. Once it settles, that is it. And so really what's more important is finality. It doesn't matter the order as much, whether it's 3 seconds later or this or that. It's just the order in which it's processed. It functionally doesn't matter. So what matters is the finality and security of the network. And so I've always found that to be fascinating, but since it's arranged in that way, it's much faster, much less energy intensive, and much less expensive to have transactions on the XRP ledger, because functionally that's how it operates, as opposed to having mining, which is just an energy hog if you look at what Bitcoin's doing, and it's terribly slow. And it could never, like Bitcoin on layer 1 technology for sure, would never be suited as a bridge currency. And so we'll see if layer 2 could ever fix something like that, like Lightning Network. But verdict's out on that. I'm still not convinced, but we'll see. It's still not working today, except for very small transactions. And then even then, I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but like Lightning Network, if it works for most cryptocurrencies on the planet. It would not be unique to Bitcoin. You're talking about payment channels that are just funded. But anyway, that's outside the scope of this video. But anyway, I just find all this stuff fascinating here. But I will, I guess I'll go ahead and wrap up there. But thank you very much, everybody, for stopping by. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything, because of anything that I say or write, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.